King Edward IV, one of England's most compelling monarchs, reigned during a tumultuous period marked by civil strife and political machinations known as the Wars of the Roses. His rise to power, characterized by decisive battles and strategic marriages, not only shaped the course of English history but also established a legacy that influenced the nation long after his death. This essay delves into the life and reign of Edward IV, exploring his early years, ascent to the throne, governance, personal life, and lasting impact on the English monarchy. Edward IV's story is one of resilience and ambition. Born into the Yorkist faction at a time when England was torn between rival claims to the throne, Edward navigated a perilous landscape of shifting allegiances and bloody conflicts. His reign saw significant administrative reforms and efforts to stabilize the kingdom, although it was also marked by controversy and rebellion. By examining Edward's life in detail, we gain insights into the complexities of medieval kingship and the enduring influence of his rule. Early life and background. Edward IV was born on April 28, 1442, at Rouen in Normandy, France, to Richard Plantagenet, Duke of York, and Cecily Neville. His father, a leading figure in the Yorkist faction, held a strong claim to the English throne, while his mother came from the powerful Neville family, which played a crucial role in the political dynamics of the period. Edward's early years were shaped by the ongoing conflict between the House of York and the House of Lancaster, a struggle for the English crown that would later be known as the Wars of the Roses. This dynastic feud, characterized by its emblematic red and white roses, created a backdrop of instability and conflict that deeply influenced Edward's upbringing and future ambitions. Educated primarily by his mother and private tutors, Edward received a comprehensive education typical of nobility during the period. He was trained in the arts of war and chivalry, preparing him for the military and leadership roles he would later assume. His physical stature and martial prowess became well known, contributing to his reputation as a formidable warrior and leader. In addition to martial training, Edward was exposed to the complexities of political strategy and governance from a young age. His father's involvement in the political struggles of the time provided Edward with a first-hand understanding of the intricate and often dangerous nature of English politics. This early exposure would prove invaluable as he navigated his path to kingship. Edward's family background and early experiences set the stage for his eventual rise to power. As the eldest son of the Duke of York, he was positioned as a key figure in the Yorkist claim to the throne, and his future would be inextricably linked to the fortunes of his house. The combination of his noble lineage, physical prowess, and early education equipped him with the tools needed to pursue and ultimately secure the English crown. Rise to power. Edward IV's ascent to the throne was a dramatic and turbulent process, deeply intertwined with the broader context of the Wars of the Roses. This period of civil war, which pitted the Yorkist and Lancastrian factions against each other, created an environment ripe for political maneuvering and military confrontation. The political climate of England before Edward's reign was marked by discontent and factionalism. King Henry VI, the reigning monarch, faced widespread criticism for his perceived weakness and inability to effectively govern the kingdom. His bouts of mental illness further undermined his authority, leading to power struggles among the nobility. The Lancastrian regime's instability provided an opportunity for the Yorkist faction, led by Edward's father, Richard, Duke of York, to challenge the existing order. Key events leading to Edward's ascension to the throne included a series of battles and shifting alliances. The Duke of York's initial efforts to assert his claim culminated in the Battle of St. Albans in 1455, a conflict that marked the beginning of open hostilities between the two houses. Although Richard was killed at the Battle of Wakefield in 1460, his death galvanized Yorkist supporters, and his eldest son, Edward, took up the mantle of leadership. Edward's military acumen and charismatic leadership quickly became apparent. In a series of decisive engagements, he secured pivotal victories that solidified his position as a formidable contender for the throne. The Battle of Towton in 1461, one of the largest and bloodiest battles of the Wars of the Roses, was particularly significant. Edward's forces emerged victorious, and the outcome effectively ended Lancastrian resistance in the north of England. With the support of key allies, including Richard Neville, Earl of Warwick, known as the Kingmaker, Edward was proclaimed king on March 4, 1461. His coronation marked the beginning of his first reign, though the conflict was far from over. Edward's rise to power was a testament to his strategic brilliance, martial skill, and the ability to inspire loyalty among his followers. It also underscored the volatile nature of the period, where fortunes could change rapidly and the throne was never entirely secure. First reign, 1461 to 1470. Edward IV's first reign was marked by his efforts to consolidate power and stabilize his newly acquired kingdom amidst ongoing conflicts and political challenges. This period was crucial in establishing his authority and implementing reforms that would shape his legacy. Initial challenges and consolidation of power. Upon ascending the throne, Edward IV faced numerous challenges. Although the Battle of Towton had significantly weakened Lancastrian resistance, pockets of support for the deposed Henry VI remained. Edward had to secure his position by quelling uprisings and securing loyalty from powerful nobles. One of Edward's early moves was to strengthen his position through strategic marriages and alliances. He married Elizabeth Woodville in 1464, a controversial choice given her status as a commoner and widow of a Lancastrian supporter. This marriage aimed to solidify internal support and brought the influential Woodville family into the Yorkist fold. However, it also alienated key allies such as the Earl of Warwick, who had hoped to arrange a more politically advantageous match for the king. To secure his reign, Edward embarked on a series of campaigns to eliminate remaining Lancastrian strongholds. Key victories, such as the Battle of Hexham in 1464, helped to consolidate Yorkist control. Edward also sought to undermine Lancastrian support by pardoning former enemies and restoring their lands, thus promoting a policy of reconciliation. Major battles and conflicts. Edward's first reign was punctuated by several significant battles and conflicts, reflecting the ongoing volatility of the period. One of the most notable confrontations was the Battle of Edgecote Moor in 1469, where Edward faced a rebellion led by the Earl of Warwick and Edward's own brother, George, Duke of Clarence. The rebellion stemmed from dissatisfaction with Edward's policies and his marriage to Elizabeth Woodville. Warwick, known as the Kingmaker, had been instrumental in Edward's rise to power but grew disillusioned with the king's increasing independence. The Battle of Edgecote Moor resulted in a defeat for Edward's forces, leading to his temporary capture. Although Edward managed to escape and regain control, this conflict highlighted the fragile nature of his reign and the internal divisions within the Yorkist camp. Political and administrative reforms. Despite these challenges, Edward IV implemented several political and administrative reforms aimed at strengthening the monarchy and improving governance. He focused on restoring law and order, which had deteriorated during the protracted civil wars. Edward took measures to enhance royal authority by curbing the power of overmighty subjects and ensuring loyalty through patronage and rewards. One of Edward's key reforms was the improvement of the royal finances. He took steps to increase crown revenues by streamlining tax collection and addressing corruption within the administration. Edward's financial acumen helped stabilize the economy and provided the resources necessary to maintain his military campaigns and court expenses. Edward also sought to modernize the administration of justice. He introduced more efficient legal procedures and strengthened the role of the King's Bench and other courts. These reforms were aimed at reducing corruption and ensuring that justice was administered fairly and consistently across the kingdom. Key figures in Edward's court. Edward IV's court was populated by a mix of loyal supporters and ambitious nobles, each playing a role in the administration and politics of the realm. Some of the key figures included Richard Neville, Earl of Warwick. Initially one of Edward's staunchest supporters, Warwick's eventual rebellion highlighted the complex dynamics of loyalty and ambition within the court. George, Duke of Clarence, Edward's brother, whose shifting allegiances and involvement in Warwick's rebellion created significant challenges for the king. Elizabeth Woodville, Edward's queen, whose marriage brought both advantages and conflicts. Her large family secured numerous influential positions, leading to tensions with other nobles. William, Lord Hastings, a trusted advisor and military commander, Hastings played a crucial role in Edward's administration and military campaigns. These individuals, along with others, contributed to the intricate web of alliances and rivalries that characterized Edward IV's first reign. Exile and restoration. Edward's first reign ended abruptly due to a combination of internal dissent and external pressures, leading to his temporary exile in 1470. This period of his life was marked by dramatic reversals of fortune, illustrating the unstable nature of 15th-century English politics. Despite these challenges, Edward's resilience and strategic acumen ultimately enabled his return to power. Circumstances leading to exile. The key catalyst for Edward IV's exile was the growing discontent among his former allies, particularly Richard Neville, Earl of Warwick, and Edward's own brother, George, Duke of Clarence. Their dissatisfaction stemmed from Edward's marriage to Elizabeth Woodville and the subsequent rise of the Woodville family, which they perceived as a threat to their own influence. Warwick, initially a loyal supporter who had played a crucial role in Edward's ascent to the throne, felt increasingly marginalized. His resentment was exacerbated by Edward's refusal to support a proposed marriage alliance between Warwick's daughter and the French royal family, which Edward rejected in favor of a Burgundian alliance. The breakdown in relations culminated in Warwick and Clarence joining forces against Edward, leveraging their combined military and political clout to challenge the king. In 1470, Warwick and Clarence launched a rebellion, forcing Edward to flee England. Edward sought refuge in Burgundy, where he garnered support from Charles the Bold, Duke of Burgundy. The Duke's assistance was instrumental in providing Edward with the resources needed to mount a counteroffensive. Life in exile. During his exile, Edward IV faced the dual challenges of maintaining his legitimacy as the rightful king of England and securing the necessary support to reclaim his throne. His time in Burgundy was spent garnering political and financial backing from his brother-in-law, Charles the Bold. This alliance proved pivotal, as Burgundy's resources enabled Edward to prepare a military expedition to retake his kingdom. Edward's charisma and diplomatic skills were crucial during this period. He managed to secure the loyalty of key Yorkist supporters who had initially wavered, including his younger brother, Richard, Duke of Gloucester. Edward's ability to inspire confidence in his cause and rally supporters highlighted his strengths as a leader. Before we wrap up, we encourage you to subscribe to our channel in order to explore more about medieval history. Check out our other videos on the channel or share your thoughts and questions in the comments below. We love hearing from you. Thanks for joining us on this journey through time. Stay curious and keep exploring.